to the Lovish Podcast, and I'm your host, Seida Hood, a licensed clinical social worker. Each week, I'm going to help you to develop the belief and strategy necessary to make an immediate impact on the world by deep diving into topics like mental wellness, faith, relationships, and love. I should mention before we hop into the show, this is not a substitute for a relationship with a licensed therapist. You ready? Let's get it! And don't say nothing until I tell you to say something.
Okay, that is so aggressive.
Hey, y'all. Welcome back to the Lovish Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Seida Hood. If you are listening to this on your favorite listening platform, I want to let you know that this is a video podcast episode. And if you are listening to this on your favorite listening platform, then you might notice that I have a special guest with me in the studio. Y'all take a minute and welcome my bestie, my friend, Lana.
Hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be here.
Yay! I'm happy to have you on the show too. You know, I was thinking about it, like this show came out in 2021 and I thought about it and I'm like, you've never been on the show. That's so crazy to me. Like
behind the scenes, you know.
Definitely behind the scenes. Definitely. Okay, because clips reviewed, graphics reviewed, opinions, software tested, right? Like, so anyway, I am so happy to have you on the show. This kicks off episode 1 of the series that I am doing for the month of February called Real Love. What's good? We are talking about love. Y'all know this is the Lovish Podcast. We talk about love. We rep love. We authentic, all of that, relationships, etc. So what better way to kick off the month of February and this installment without my friend,
the one and only,
my boo, my bestie boo. Okay. As you might know, if you've been a longtime listener of the show, we talk about love and love-ish and versions of love on the show all the time. And I think that has different interpretations for different people. Mm-hmm. But anyway, I wanted to start us off at a space where you can tell us how we met, how our relationship got started. And y'all gonna see me looking down because I have to look at the questions. You know what I'm saying? So how do we meet? I'll let you tell that story.
Oh. It's a little bit of not the typical besties story.
We met in 2nd grade and shared lunch and we're besties ever since.
No. So, Seida went to Trinity Christian College, where I ended up going.
She followed me, y'all.
Didn't. When I got there, me and Seida also attended the same church. Our churches are pretty big though, so we had 2 different locations that we were at. We knew of each other, but did not know each other.
Yeah, she stole my best friend, my childhood best friend. Hey Dana, I love you, girl.
She's gonna stick beside this story.
I'm gonna stick beside it because Dana was my best friend before she was your best friend.
Okay. I don't know anything about.
She's trying to be cute on this podcast, y'all. Okay. This is not even her real personality. Okay. So if we was to ask your man, he gonna say you be over here. And so
I'm being a little bit professional. You know, I'm on your podcast. I really want to be professional. You know,
she said if this footage gets out. Okay.
So, I started going to the school. She did kind of show me around, you know, showed me, you know, who was who and what was what and what's going on at the school and, you know, where to get a job and all this stuff.
Definitely showed her where to get the bag.
Yes.
Did we work there together? I know I was working at the making phone calls.
No, because I was in the finance area.
Which makes sense.
All of y'all was running up in there for the refund. Y'all know who y'all are. But anywho, so yeah. We was cool or whatever, you know. Then we started, I think it was like our senior year. We decided we wanted to get an apartment. We wanted to get the off-campus apartment. So the off-campus apartments was like the who's lived there. Like,
period.
if you was a senior, like most of the seniors did not live on campus. They lived in the off-campus apartments, which was considered to be like, you was grown, you was paying your own
I pay my own rent, so get up out my place.
All $200 of it. So, like, you felt like you was, who's who. So we were like, we're gonna get one together and be living over there, with all the rest of the other 5 Black people that were on campus.
Literally.
So we got an apartment together.
And mistake.
It was no good. We did not get along.
We could not stand each other.
Like, it was just, and this was at the beginning of, we didn't realize the friendship was budding.
Right.
But I feel like now looking back,
a deeper level of friendship.
Mm-hmm. Now looking back, we were kind of like learning each other and figuring out what each other's boundaries were and likes and dislikes and things.
But it really wasn't our fault though. Because y'all, honestly, okay, so sidebar, we made a foolish decision, but it wasn't just us. It was everybody that went to the school that made the same foolish decision, which leads me to say it wasn't our fault. It was really the school's fault. And right now, y'all want to know what that decision was. It was a 1-bedroom apartment, y'all.
1 bedroom. So we were sharing a room, all the while developing new relationships with our men who we both ended up marrying.
Yes, we would be fighting to get home first. And I knew, I used to tell them, Lana be trying to race me home. And then they was like, sure, you think she be doing that? I'm trying to tell you, she's trying to lock down that couch. And you was probably telling people the same thing, though, right?
Now, too much tea. So,
but ain't that the truth, though? Wasn't you?
Partially.
Okay, she don't want to tell the whole truth.
It was a lot of stuff though. We didn't get along. We didn't get along. We didn't get along. This 1-bedroom apartment together. We did not get along. 1 bedroom, 1 bathroom. So when we did move out, when we was done, graduated college, and we did move out and went our separate ways,
right?
It just kind of naturally happened that we just got really cool. Like, I guess because we were used to living with each other, and I guess the way that we got used to each other, we just was like, hey girl, like, what you doing?
Literally probably like a week after we moved out, we was like, all right girl, what's up? Like, what we finna do? And mind you, like, we've been friends probably 15 years now?
Yep.
A long time. Like, I know in relationships people tend to just, I always been my best friend for 97 years. Like, we just figured out that count literally like today. But I say that to say that it took effort for us to even get here because we don't live by each other. Like, and even when we moved out from our apartment, we did not live by each other. We've
always been distance from each other.
We have.
Yeah. So at least an hour from each other.
Right. So that kind of takes us into our next question. What does real love amongst friends look like? Because some people, I think, would say it's the proximity. Y'all go everywhere together. Y'all do everything. And we don't go everywhere together or do everything together. So what do you think real love
And I think
like?
that has been from us developing our adult lives. We both have our own things going on and stuff like that. So us per se physically being in each other's space is not really what makes us like.
Yeah, because I was like, when you just said that, I'm thinking like even in college, I feel like we hung out a lot, but it wasn't. I still had my own stuff.
Yeah, I had my own group of friends. You had your own group of friends. Like, and we would see each other at the what's the little snack spot called?
The snack shop. Was it? Yeah.
That's what we always used to meet up
with the coffees and the little Bosco sticks.
That's what everybody used to get, them
Bosco sticks.
Nasty thing.
Right. Somebody watching this right now like, oh, my school had Bosco sticks too. Those was fine.
So, real love, though, I think between friends, definitely being there for each other. I feel like, and when I say being there for each other, I don't mean like, I got a flat tire, come get me.
Although it could be that.
It could be. But that's not the main thing that I'm referring to. I'm literally referring to being there for one another when it comes to mental breakdowns, highs, lows, mellows, like anytime just in somebody's corner. Right. Just
so that sounds like when you saying that you're talking about like creating emotional space, like an emotional safe space, or even creating capacity for somebody in your life.
Yes, yeah. And like between like me and you, like no matter what we have going on, if we know the other one needs each other on a level that like, hey, I need you, and we usually can tell, you know, by each other's voice or the way that we. No.
Are you about to cry?
No.
That would be so cute. You cried on a podcast. It's okay. You can cry on a podcast.
You would love that. You would love that. Yeah.
I think I saw a tweet. When you were telling that story, your eyes kind of shining a little bit.
No, I'm good, sis. Yeah, just like being there for that person. Like I will drop just about everything if I know this girl needs me and needs me to listen to her on the phone, needs me to listen to an event, needs me to come running, you know, to wherever she is.
And vice versa.
And vice versa. Definitely. And we've had those situations where we've proven to each other that that's the way we feel about it.
But you know what? I also feel like you bring up a good point, because your love language is acts of service and my love language is acts of service. So that's how we do this in our friendship. But
not everybody's is like that.
Exactly. Like I'm aware that that's not necessarily the thing for everybody.
And you have to establish that in your own friendship. You have to figure out, how is it that my friend or best friend or whatever wants to be loved or likes to be loved? And that's what the other person also has to do. Figure out how you like to be loved and display that.
Yeah.
And that's really how you create a genuine friendship. Like everybody that I know that has genuine friendships have been able to display that towards each other.
Right. And they understand that about each other. And that you make me think about like my friends whose love language is words of affirmation. Like that's a really big thing for them. And when I speak, because first of all, if you listen to this podcast, you already know I'm giving you all the gas all the time, period. Okay. Because you can do it. Like every single episode laced with gas. I got my foot on the gas. I'm not getting up, period. But when I be gassing people up in their personal lives and celebrating achievements and accomplishments, you know, they love that so much. Oh my God, and that's the form of love for them. But I, like you said, like recognizing that, because even thinking about me and how I experience love. Okay, my top love languages are acts of service and gifts, and that's not the case for everybody. And so I think that my real friends that know me, they know like Seida likes gifts, and it doesn't necessarily have to be something that's just, you know, all out or anything like that. Just show me that you thought about me, like show me that you care, you know. So learning each other's love language. For example, what's your top love languages? Acts of service and
words of affirmation.
Okay, so I'm thinking about the most meaningful Christmas gift that I think she has ever got me, and it will have to be the mug with us on it. And that's not to say that the other Christmas gifts have been trash or nothing like that, because they was definitely dope. But it's because I know you ordered that special order, and because you know I love my coffee. So like it was a combination of the two. You feel me? So just kind of paying attention to what the other person needs and how they feel loved. So that kind of take us into our next question. What does it take to maintain real friendships?
I think to maintain a real friendship is that communication. Like, and not even you got to talk to the person all the time or always be, you know, hey, what's going on? But the communication of clear, concise communication, meaning I'm a huge overthinker. Like I overthink everything. So I will assume something. If you're not communicating to me and letting me know what it really is, I will my brain will just be going. I will assume things and I'll be all in outer space with my thoughts because you haven't communicated anything to me and haven't told me anything. So I'm just in my own thoughts. I feel like if you're communicating with the other person, there's no place for overthinking.
True.
Because you've already communicated, this is how I feel, this is what I think. So if I only talk to you once every week or once every 2 weeks or whatever it may be, I know that we are friends because every time we speak, communication on what it is between us.
That sounds like expectations too. Like, there's a clear expectation that even talking once a week for that particular relationship is enough. Because while I feel like we have gone like a week without talking to each other, that's not really our norm, but I know what you're saying because I do have friends where it's like I only talk to them maybe once or twice a week or once a month or something like that. So that, that does make sense. Lines up.
Right. And like you said, for us, that's not our norm. We talk like every day, multiple times a day. But that's us. Not everybody is like that. And that's fine. You don't have to be like that. Like like I said, I know people that only talk to their friend, once a week, once a month.
They ain't gonna work for us.
But for us, it wouldn't work. But because I'm the type of person, if you don't check on me, if you ain't saw where I was, what I'm doing, at least once a month.
If you ain't like the real,
you ain't like, do you even care about me? Like, what is going on? Now it's different if we don't talk as often, but we talking on maybe social media, or we're talking, texting or sending each other memes or little funny videos.
Right.
Like, okay,
but that's still communication.
That's communication,
and that's still an expectation of how you want the relationship to flow.
Especially for this day and age, like. For us and millennials and Gen Z and X and all that, like that's how we communicate.
It is, and it is. Okay, so are there boundaries in friendships? If so, what are those boundaries?
I think it's important to create boundaries in any relationship, especially a friendship, but in any relationship, but definitely in friendship, because we've heard of so many friendships that have fallen out or we not
over my man.
Over, that's numero uno for girls. Like, it's hard to keep a relationship, and they always, we fell out because her man or her boyfriend or her husband. Like, that's just so common. And it's sad. Look at being silly. It's so sad though. That's really common. But I feel like for us, speaking of my man, that's a boundary.
A boundary, period. Because we're not sister wives.
That as well.
And we're not pillow talking.
Exactly.
That's what I'm
referring to.
Baby, that's one.
Yeah, that's what I'm referring to. Like, we have a boundary of, and even with, she'll come to me and vent. She could come to me and be like, my husband just really hates the color purple, and I just can't, I can't come behind her and be like, because that man, he really hating on the color purple. I can't talk about him.
Right.
That's her husband.
Period.
She can vent to me and say whatever she want to say about him. I can't come behind her then and be talking about, he's wrong for not liking the color purple. And
like, now time for a brief blooper break.
Yeah, we ducking and bucking and ready to fight. I bet y'all I'ma throw them things so haters better think twice. See me, I ain't nothing nice. And cry my bitter. Oh. Okay, so boundaries. My man. We're not pillow talking.
Yes, we don't pillow talk.
And we've never even discussed that. It's just kind of a known thing. Ain't nobody going on the pillow talk, babe. We're just not doing that.
No. I'm not gonna run and tell my man everything she tells me all the time. Like, That's not even right. That's like when they be saying like keep your family out of your relationship,
Mm-hmm.
because there may be things that your spouse does to you or things that happen between you and your spouse, and you done ran off and told your family, and now they haven't forgiven him and they feel some type of way towards him or her, but you done moved on over something that happened last year, and now they still just treating them bogus because
He can't come to the birthday party. Why?
right. So we try to keep stuff like that away from our men.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't keeping, secrets like, Seida running off and foo blah lying with somebody else, and I'm keeping that from her husband. No.
And first of all, having a friend that will tell you the truth when you're wrong.
When you're right and when you're wrong.
Because I'll definitely be like, low key, like a real friendship, a real relationship, you should be out here saving the marriage, right? Yeah. Like when your friend is like, flag, I'm ready to get up out of here. Let's go. I'm done. You should be like, all right, hold on, flag on the play.
Be able to show them what's
wrong.
Really going on, right? Yeah. Giving them sound advice, like
not sending them off,
right? And if the case is they do need to get out the relationship, you should be able to tell them that, and the person should be able to receive that. Mm-hmm. They can still do what they want to do because they're grown,
knowing that it's coming from a place of love,
right? Exactly, coming from a place of love. Ain't no jealousy over here between either one of us. Mm-mm. And if there was, that's where that communication comes in, because I'm going to run and tell her how I feel.
Period. Because if you don't, I'm going to see it anyway. Mm-hmm. You going to see it anyway at me.
And I will.
Okay. Pipe it down now.
I could definitely tell.
All right. So, do real friends need breaks from one another?
A break? Like, what you mean a break? Like we don't talk?
Exactly what I'm feeling. A break. Like, who came up with these questions? Me.
I'll say natural breaks happen between. It's not really even a break. Like, we'll go sometimes a day or two and we won't talk to each other because we've just gotten busy in our lives or whatever. But it's never like, ooh. Well, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes if we go that long, I do kind of be like, what's that? Like, what's going on with her? Like,
well, but it's not like a mean place or like
it's just out of concern, really. It'd be
because that's not our norm. It's not what we've established. Because I do have friends where it's like we don't talk every day. We maybe do talk once a week or sometimes once every 2 weeks or something like that. So that's not weird for me. But when you have a relationship where we talk every day, multiple times a day, we sending pictures, memes, whatever, just spilling all the tea to each other, like, then that is like, hold up, where you at? What's going on? Why you ain't called me? Mm-hmm. Exactly. Who in your ear? Exactly. You trying to replace me as a bestie or what?
Exactly. Exactly. So, yeah, I don't think besties need no break like that. You just continue to move the way y'all move, like.
But also, let's keep it real. Don't nobody want to be around each other 24/7 either. No. Mm-hmm. So I think, like you said, like the natural progression, because I don't want to be around my man 24/7. I don't want to be around my kids 24/7. I don't want to be around my mama 24/7. Like, you just don't want to be around everybody all the time, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. But breaks, and I guess, this could be interpreted one of two ways, like breaks as in just a natural break, which, okay, yeah, but then I wouldn't really call it a break. Or if there's tension in the relationship, if a break needs to happen after that.
It depends, because you don't want too much. If there's tension, you don't want too much of a break to cause overthinking or the devil to come up in there.
Period.
So...
But I guess I would say even in that, I feel like with our relationship, that would be no. Because after we resolve it, then if we go ahead and take a break, I'm going to be like, oh, she's still mad, even though she said she wasn't. Exactly. But again, that's for us.
And that's where that overthinking comes in for me.
Okay, so the last question for you before we get to the typical guest questions. What advice would you give the 20 or 30-something young lady that is looking to establish friendships out here in these streets?
Yikes.
You can't tell her that. She gonna be like, bro, what's up?
That's just so hard. These hoes ain't loyal.
Chris Brown said it best.
No, it's just really hard to find genuine friendships nowadays.
That's true.
Like, you, for the most part, just like you said earlier, you mostly hear people say like, "Oh, I've known this girl since kindergarten," or you know, "I've known this person since I was a kid or out of college or high school or whatever it may have been." And you had that long period of time to learn that person, see them in their ups and downs, figure out what type of person they are. Are they a loyal person? Are they not? How they act around.
But does time always equate like the status in the friendship though?
No. So you just had that time to tell that about a person. But now you're 20, 30 years old. We don't have that type of time anymore to figure out, do I want to be friends with this person or not? So I feel like you kind of go off vibes too. Like you've had enough life experience to know, I can feel this person's vibe out. Start out as acquaintances, and then we can move forward to see how far in this relationship we can go. If we can get to friends, if we can get to besties, whatever it may be. But don't come off the bat jumping off the ship talking about bestie. No,
right, based on one good experience.
Right.
I feel like that's where a lot of people get themselves jammed up, because they will have a good experience or a positive experience, like let's say at a party, and then maybe again at another event or something, and they jump into giving that person a title when really you don't know that person. You know? So yeah, so the advice is to take it easy, treat it very similar to dating in terms of like filling out the person's personality type, and I think a thing, well, not just taking one or two good experiences and saying like, yeah, that's my bestie, that's my best friend. Should you ever? Okay. The last thing I will add to that is to know your expectations. Know what it is that you want, that you're looking for in a friend and in your tribe, and then seeing if that person has those characteristics. Not trying to fit that into them, but if they don't have it, they just don't have it. And maybe there's somebody that you just have a good experience with. Okay. What inspires you to be your best self?
My little London.
Hey, booby
daughter. She does. She inspires me to be my best self. She really does. And my husband, he inspires me to be my best self. He takes a lot more convincing on things. I have to be like, I came up with this idea and I want to do this. And they be like, what?
Don't let me bearing with us, girl. All these ideas, like ideas just flowing.
The Capricorn brain. You just keep coming up with ideas.
Okay.
So yes, him, my husband, and my daughter though.
Okay, so what does it mean to show real love? I always ask guests this question because we talk about people showing half-hearted versions of love or love-ish. So that's where the name of the show came from. So what does it mean to show real love?
To show real love.
Searching for real love. Someone to set my heart free, real love. Okay.
We get distracted, please. Okay. Showing real love. So I think it goes back to that knowing just how the person wants to be loved. Everybody's version of love, or what love looks like to everybody, is different. Like,
no doubt.
Love is literally not one thing. It's so different to everybody. Has their own definition of it. So I feel like showing or figuring out what that person's way of wanting to be loved is, and doing that. And that's how you show them love, real love.
What is one big dream you have that you wish was a reality?
I definitely want my content creation and influencing business to really kick off. It's been doing really good lately compared to, last year already.
Okay, you better work 2023.
Right?
Y'all see her info. Wait, for y'all, it's right there. Follow. That's Lana Mari.
So, yes, goals me in that already, but I really wanted to ramp up. I really want to get more into UGC creating, just bringing home the bag. I just want to be able to live a luxurious, soft life. Like, I just am realizing that life is too short to not do what you want to do and get what you want to get and have what you want to have. So shoot, that's what you want to do, then do it.
This is so funny to me to hear this girl say this because she's already in her bag, right? Like if y'all know that song, "I'm in my bag." Hey, this is her. Like she's already in a high level position at work. She has a booming business that get major contracts with companies in Chicago all the time. So, but ain't nothing wrong with stepping that bag up. If you want to step the bag up, step the bag up, right? Multiple streams of income. Do you, boo? So, like I said, her information is definitely going to be linked in the show notes and down below. But y'all follow right here. That's Lana Mari on Instagram and YouTube.
Yes, follow, and TikTok.
Oh. And TikTok.
She needs to, y'all tell her to get a TikTok.
I don't want a TikTok, y'all.
She needs to get one.
I don't want a TikTok.
I'm tired of texting her TikToks.
I don't want to TikTok.
Let's move on.
Okay. We already talked about where people can find you. What makes you laugh is the last question.
Oh. Well, we know you do. We know you make me laugh.
I better have been.
I wouldn't be around you for this long without you making me laugh. My husband makes me laugh. He's pretty funny. My daughter makes me laugh hysterically. She's super silly.
Hilarious.
Super silly. But yeah, movies. I love funny movies. I'll take that over a love movie any day.
What if it's a love and funny?
I love a romantic comedy, rom-com. I do. I love those.
Well, there's a lot of those, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. So yeah, those are things that make me laugh.
Okay. Anything else you would like to say to the people before we turn off the camera?
Thanks for having me. I was super excited to be invited onto the podcast finally, guys.
The podcast.
Yes, super excited. You all, she's really great. Definitely make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you follow. Listen to the podcast, all of that stuff, because this girl right here, she's a go-getter. She's super inspiring. Like, she inspires me every day, all the time. She's always doing something, coming up with some new ideas. She keeps me on my toes. Like, I can't even be just lollygagging and just fool-la-lying with my life, because the way this girl just be such a go-getter, I'll be like, okay, let me go and find something to do, because like she's just always doing something. And I love it. I love it about her. She's such an inspiration. So thank you for having me, and thank you for being my bestie.
This is where they be like, great minds think alike, because literally whenever she got done giving y'all advice, I was going to beef her up and put my foot on the gas, as I usually do when people are exiting the show. So I want to say to you, bestie, because I'm going to talk to her. Y'all just get to witness it. Thanks for being in the room. Thanks for being in the space. Thanks for being on the podcast. Mm-hmm. I think you don't hear enough how amazing you are, how awesome you are. You're a great wife, mom, friend. You be doing a little bit too much for some of these other people, some of these other friends, but you know what? No, I'm just kidding. But for real though, like, you've been through so much and you persevere so strong, so fierce. You still show up, and you don't let the things that happen to you in life stop you. And that's inspiring to me. And I'm glad that we're friends.
Aww, thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy.
Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us for the first installment of the Real Love series on the podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, share the love. Share with your mama, share with your auntie, share with your best friend, and then head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review. Reviews help the podcast to grow. I did not say 3 stars. I did not say 4. I said 5. And can y'all leave a couple of comments? Because people want to read and they want to know why y'all love this podcast, because I do see y'all rating the show and I appreciate it. Just put a couple words there too. All right, that's all I have for you this week. I'll see you out in these social media streets.